and welcome to the Booksplosion Book of the Month live show for February. I'm Kat.
I'm Christine.
I'm Jesse.
We're Booksplosion. And in February, we read XOXO by AXIE OH. It is a standalone contemporary romance coming of age.
Yeah.
You're on the right track.
It is about a girl named Jenny who meets a boy at her uncle's karaoke bar, Noribong. And she meets this boy and they kind of have this fun little adventure going to like this Korean market that's happening, and they really connect. But he is leaving that night and he goes back to Korea and he doesn't reply to her text messages, and she's like, well, I guess he's gone forever. But then her grandmother back in Korea falls ill, and her mom decide to go there for a couple months to take care of her.
5 months.
Surgery. Yeah, for quite a few months, for five months. She's like transferring schools and like going over there for like a whole semester. And when she gets there, she is a concert cellist. So she gets there and she's going to like this prestigious music academy, and the boy that she met in Los Angeles is also attending the school, and it turns out he is like a K-pop idol, and she did not know that, and that's kind of why he ghosted her. And yeah, if we go from there as she attends the school and meets him and the other members of his band, and she makes other friends at the school, and it's just a fun adventure romance set in South Korea. There's lots of like K-pop and Korean cultural influences, and it's just a fun read.
This made me want to go to Seoul even more than I've ever wanted to go to Seoul. I was like, I want to go to there.
I already wanted to go to Seoul, so like this made me like, I want to go so badly.
I've already been to Seoul, so
I've already been to everywhere I talked about. You know what? I only like some of the things she described. I was like, I saw that in Jesse's videos.
Love it.
Do you guys want to talk about
We'll talk.
basic, spoiler-free feels, thoughts, opinions?
I really enjoyed this book, and at first I was like not so much enjoying it because the audiobook narrator isn't as she's not like as emotive as some audiobook narrators, so it was a little hard to get into it. But then like I did get into it and I loved it, and by the end I was like having so much fun listening to it. If you speed it up a little bit, like she sounds much more excited when she's talking. It's like very slow when you listen to it any slower than like 1.4. But yeah, I really loved it. You know how I love a study abroad novel? This is a study abroad novel. She's studying abroad. She's in a new school. She's meeting new friends. She's got new love interests. She's like learning about the culture and like learning about her own history. And I loved the relationship with her family running in the background. And like I loved everything with her roommate. And I just had a really great time reading it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I was kind of surprised by how much I enjoyed it, because you never know with like a book where it's like about like K-pop or like something like that, like country accent just popped out. Anyway, you just like never know if it's gonna be like gimmicky or like, you know, just kind of like cheesy. And I really enjoyed it. Like I loved the K-pop element. I think that's the thing that I liked the most, was just like seeing the character that was the K-pop star. What's his name? Jaewoo? Jaewoo. I just liked kind of like that interesting dynamic that it caused the relationship to have, because he does have to keep his relationship a secret. And yeah, I just liked that aspect, and it was just,
I like that too.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. Kitten, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. I mean, I love K-pop, and I've been interested in Korean culture for a while. Like I'm learning Korean. And so this was just a really fun, like immersive reading experience set in like this boarding school in Seoul. And it was just really fun. And like Jesse said, it balanced that line well of like being cute and lighthearted, but not too like cheesy and like not too over the top. Like it was a very nice balance. And we also got like, in addition to the romance and like her experiences in South Korea, we also got like a good family dynamic going on. And I really like the friendships too. Like her friendship with her roommate and the other students that she makes friends with at the school was like one of the highlights for me. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, also secret relationship trope is one of my favorite tropes. I feel like the ending, like the climactic moment, felt a little disjointed in some ways that I'll talk more about when we get to the spoiler section. So
I liked it.
well, I'll talk about, like, there's some things that like I liked it as it was happening, but like afterwards I was thinking about it and I was like, but wait, like some things don't quite add up in my brain.
Yeah.
What things?
I have something too with the finale as well that like.
You want to jump into it?
Yes.
Wait, hold up. We have to talk about the next Booksplosion book of the month.
Oh.
In March, we are reading The Rumor Game by DHONIELLE CLAYTON and Sona Charaipotra. This is a standalone academic thriller. It takes place at this posh private school, and we have three main characters. It's kind of focused on these three girls who are all caught up in the drama surrounding this rumor. There's one girl who started the rumor, one girl who the rumor is about, and the third girl whose boyfriend the rumor is also about. So they're all like really drawn into like this drama, and it's just how that all plays out with like the high school politics, and especially with the influence of social media, and how that can like really just exasperate like a dramatic school situation.
Yeah. The blurb is a juicy, elegant, absolutely flawless thriller with a twist. That's the diverse gossip girl we've all been waiting for.
Ooh.
We have a live show date set for this as well already. Our live show will be on April 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is that right? Yeah.
That sounds right.
Okay. So yeah, pick up this book. It's out now, and join us for next month's discussion.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna do spoilers, right?
Spoilers.
Yes. If you have not read XOXO, go read it and then come back and watch the live show.
Go read it. Don't be spoiled. Okay. So tell us about the finale. We're jumping right to the finale, so go away.
It's just nothing is like so glaring that I was like, oh, this ruined the book, or like, oh, this made it a bad book. Like I still overall enjoyed it, but there were just some things that I was like, one of them was surrounding the secret relationship. Like it's built up this whole time, like they have to have a secret relationship, which I also have some feelings about how I didn't love parts of that. Because like secret relationship trope is only fun when both people are like totally on board with it. And for a good section of the book, Jenny was like, I don't know if I want to be like his secret. And so that like was not as fun.
I thought that, so I don't know much about I don't know as much about K-pop groups as you guys do, but like is it a thing that like none of them can have significant others without like ruining the group?
Yeah. It's just kind of part of like the social perspective of it, where it feels like it's like what Sodi had a good little like with her roommate when she was explaining it to her and was like, you have to like dedicate yourself to it, like otherwise your fans are gonna feel like you aren't fully in it and like you're being distracted. And you know, they also want to, it's also like the illusion of like they're single until like you could be with them someday, kind of like they're not off the market, like it's the dream, they're selling you a dream.
I know, but like long term that's so like people.
Yeah, even like as of like I think it was 2019 when this happened, this girl named Hyuna was like dating a guy secretly who was in a group from the same company, and they were exposed for dating, and she got kicked out of the company, and so did he. They both got kicked out.
Like, this is so cruel of like society to do it all. Like, you don't, they're not allowed to have a fucking partner. This is ridiculous. Like, comes a time also, like after 5, like how long are these groups, you know, like in the limelight? When are they allowed to have a life outside of the group?
Well, that's just it. They are only in the group for like so many years for the most part. You know, it's also like it takes so much time. Like we kind of got a glimpse of it with like Jaewoo was always busy. He was always like going on tour for weeks at a time. Like he had such a busy schedule. Like, and a lot of these K-pop artists live like that. Like they live with like crazy hours and have to do crazy amounts of work, and it's just like it's an all-consuming life.
Yeah. And typically I feel like when these like couples get exposed, like they don't even last that long because of this like crazy life that they're living, because they really don't have time for each other.
Yeah, like the social backlash of it, of like people being upset about it. So that was one of the biggest things is it just felt resolved so easily. Like he was exposed as like being in a relationship with someone, and the label was just like, we put out a statement of like, please respect our privacy, and it all like blew over. And especially when we had like that contrasted with Nathaniel, who like isn't doing any solo work, and he is like on probation kind of because his relationship was exposed. It just felt like, I don't know, there should have been
no consequences for the relationship.
Yeah, and especially when like Jaewoo was so set on it the whole time. He's like, this can't get out. Like we can only be secret friends. Like even before they were dating, he was like, would it be nice to her in front of people? And like all the other members in the group, like the 2 that were in school with them, could like be nice and friendly to her, and like you would with any other classmate. But like he was so like, we can only be friends in secret, like pulling her into closets and stuff. And so the fact that like there was no like fallout.
Well, I think like because if there was fallout, they'd never get back together unless he like stopped the group.
Yeah, which is another thing that I'm like.
So I think I also don't suspend your disbelief for a happy ending, sort of a thing.
Well, that's the thing is like I usually can suspend my disbelief for a happy ending, especially when it comes to like YA romance, because let's be real, it's not super common for you to meet the love of your life when you're 17. But I can suspend my disbelief and like believe that all these teenagers who meet in high school and fall in love stay together forever. But in this book, I just had so much trouble doing it because she didn't even stay in Korea. Like I was hoping she would stay there, but like she went back to America and
like going back for the summer, Kat.
Yeah, the next summer she's gone for a whole. I don't have faith that this relationship is gonna last.
Yeah.
So, like
and he's a K-pop star. His schedule is so busy.
Yeah, and like
it's gonna be like this is the happy ending, like mirage that they're trying to give us.
Yeah, but it just felt like I had trouble. Buying into it. Like again, it wasn't a huge thing where it like ruined the book for me. I was just like, this is a fantasy.
You know what my like my one issue really with the ending is so stupid, but when she's like trying to get into the concert and one of the guys from the group just like walks by and like sees her and like gets her, and I'm like, this would never ever happen. Like, they don't
he was like
around the arena and be like, oh, like no.
Well, he was like arriving in his car in the back. So.
Still, he would have arrived long before with managers and security around him.
Okay, guys, suspend your disbelief.
I know. It's like,
that's the thing. Is like so much of the book portrayed it in a really realistic way, so that like when it did this stuff at the end where it was like not realistic, it was all the more jarring.
Yeah, but if we had the realistic end, Kat, you would have been like, I hate this. There's a sad ending. Suppressing out one of my contemporary with a sad.
I mean, yeah, maybe, but it would have been believable.
Yeah, but we've had
it. Like, what's that other book? With a cello player.
Gail Foreman's If I Stay.
Yeah. If I Stay. It reminded me a little of that. It's like I love that book, and that book doesn't have like the happily ever after.
Mhm.
That's because Gail Forman writes sad books.
Okay, that's valid. I mean, I would have been able to buy a little bit more if like she stayed in Korea, or if I don't know, or if we had an epilogue that was like several years later, where like
Yeah.
they are together years
There
later.
is a chance that like they are together later if they even just keep in touch as friends, and then like she moves to Korea eventually because she loved it there. So
Yeah, I mean that was also kind of a disappointing thing because like she loved it in Korea and she wanted to stay,
Yeah.
and she had to go back to America. And like, I'm sure Korea has some sort of
college for the
musical college
Oh,
that's like
100%,
prestigious
yeah.
enough for her to go. And like her dream is the Manhattan School, but like she loved Korea and like I loved Korea and I wanted to stay. It was so abrupt, her leaving like the day after the showcase. She's just like gone.
Well, I could we knew the showcase wasn't going to go 100% because she had the other opportunity. So like we needed to have that happen.
We didn't even see that other opportunity, and apparently she didn't get that either. There's like
but it was like that's a stretch too. But you have to like see. It was like I really liked this theme going on that they were putting in, that like if you're gonna be his girlfriend, it's like a full-time job to commit to, and she already has her own jobs in like trying to be a cellist. She has her own life, and she would have to sacrifice that to be with him, and she doesn't want to do that, but she sees it happening, and like I like that she ends up taking the opportunity, and her mom pushes her to do that. And then like after that, she could always go back to Korea. Like if she doesn't take advantage of these now, they're not going to come again because she's not going to be the same age, and they're like looking for, like people who are on the rise and all that stuff.
No, I totally agree. And I really liked that too. Like I didn't want her to give up her dream or like sacrifice her own stuff for him. But
it was like La La Land, and I love that.
Yeah, but because of that, the ending felt like
it was La La Land if they had a happy ending.
And I would have loved it if the epilogue took place like a couple years later. Yeah. And like we had found out a couple years later that like, oh, they saw each other on summers and they stayed in touch all this time. Like if she was graduating college and she was like getting a place in a prestigious orchestra, and like he had been a huge K-pop star for years, but like then we find out that like they've still been talking, and like just some sort of like longevity to their relationship.
That could happen though. Like that's the thing, it's open. Like that could be a thing that's happening. So
it could be, but as we saw it so far, I don't have enough faith in them to believe that they will end up together. Because like their relationship was so brief and fleeting. Yeah. They went on one date.
Like, no, but they were there together for months. That's the thing. Like those, if it has an impact, if you have that connection, then like it sticks because you keep thinking about it, because it's rare to have that sort of a connection. But what I was gonna say is that like even though it looks like they're not making it as a couple, like there's a good chance that they'll stay in touch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it is believable. Like even if they don't make it, that they would like reach out to each other years later.
Yeah, but
you gotta have an optimistic outlook on the end.
No, realistic.
It is realistic to be optimistic.
Hey, Christy, I am the one who's always like pro romance, like pro happy ending. Like I'm not. I veer toward that optimistic ending, but it just didn't quite do it for me here.
Anyway, let's rewind back to the beginning of the book. So, who was like, what were your favorite bits and bops of the story here?
Bits and bops.
Favorite scenes? I really No, go. I thought you
She got to go back to his house and like meet his mom and
I like that too.
had the balcony scene or whatever. It was wholesome.
That was really cute. I also like the camping trip, the overnight trip that they did.
That was
Because that was like we had like the cute romance bit, but we also had like the friendship and like the group bonding, which was just really nice.
yeah.
I really like when they hiked to the thing and that Ian guy was being like very annoying and she hid and then he was also hiding and she's like, what are you doing here? It was a really fun scene. And I love when they're texting and she's like, oh, we had like a spa day and like they all saw like a lot of me. And he was like, I wish I was there. She's like, oh God, what do I say?
Wait, Christine, did you have like any questions about like the K-pop world while reading this book? I'm just curious.
You know, so I mean, I feel I watched the Black, you know, so I paused this to watch a bunch of Blackpink music videos. I was just like, because I've heard you guys talk about how they have like the rapper and like the this and the that, and I was like, there's two rappers, and like, then I was like, oh yeah, there are two rappers in this. But yeah, I just found it's so interesting how it's like a well-oiled machine of how they like create K-pop groups, like, and it's just not like that. I feel like with groups over here, I know in like in the UK, like a lot of them come out of like X Factor and Simon Cowell.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's kind of the best analogy that we kind of have it in like the West is like those groups that are like put together like a little mix, who are like formed by like other people.
Was
and
like,
like
Harmony formed that way too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they were. I wonder, like, I don't know how the
One
Spice Girls
Direction too.
formed. How did the Spice Girls come together? The group that I feel like the most attached to, I don't even know how they came to be.
because that wasn't as widely dispersed information back in the 90s.
Like, maybe I knew, but like I was too young to really understand back then.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. But yeah, just like hearing how he was like recruited when he was like 12 years old and then had to leave his family for so long. Like it's very strange to picture that happening here, you know? And just people wanting to be idols, like just, I don't think it would fly in America because we're like such a like religious country. They'd be like, you don't worship idols. Like they turn it into a very religious thing. Like this is wrong. You can't call them idols.
And also America is much more about like personal independence. I feel like where like people wouldn't want to be a part of a group as much as they would want to do solo things. Like that's why we have kind of the rise of like the influencer and the vlogger, and it's like a lot of the time it's like individual people.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean it's kind of beautiful to be like so group oriented in that way, like to like working together. It's like this team spirit, but also like it kind of takes it to like a toxic edge when you're like, you can't have relationships with other people.
Right.
Yeah, as much as I love K-pop, there are like dark sides to it, like that element of like they're very controlling with like their public image and like relationships they have, and also like the dieting and beauty side of things is very can be very toxic. And how these idols have to like work so much, like they are like doing like dance practice for like hours and hours, and again like it is a fun like thing where they're like all in a group and it's like their family, but in a lot of cases it's like these groups live together and work together and like don't really hang out with anyone else who isn't like a manager or a group member.
Right.
It's almost like they're so polished sometimes in performances, it doesn't look real. Like, you know, it looks like it's so manufactured sometimes because they're like so together, and it's kind of like you press play on a video, you know, like and it's so different from like, I feel like when you see American groups perform, they like, we over here we're like, we want like a very like
authentic.
authentic, genuine feel. Like this is a once in a lifetime performance where it's like different every time. And like over there, they want it like perfect. It's like perfectionism.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
And it's just
there are like compilation videos of like K-pop groups like performing on a stage, like stage shows, and it'll be a compilation where they'll take like 5 different stage performances and cut them together, and it like blends seamlessly because I mean I love it. I think it's so cool.
It's satisfying. It's so
it's like one of my favorite kind of videos because like they'll do like a dance move and like their whole like outfit and look will change like mid dance move because it's like cutting to a different performance, but like it's so lined up perfectly that it's just it's beautiful.
Wow.
But it is they like practice so much so they can do like the same thing every time. But what I think is interesting is I feel like you get more of that manufactured feel in newer K-pop groups because a lot of the like ones that are more established, like the ones that are most popular are because like the members have like come into their confidence and like have their own distinct personalities. Like BTS is arguably the most popular K-pop group in the world, and like everyone knows them for their like distinct personalities and like who they are as people, and not just like as one group like moving together. Like it's about their individual selves.
Since like, so I was watching like a bunch of the Blackpink ones, and they change their hair so often that I was like having a hard time tracking, like knowing them, you know, like so I was like, wait, is this the same person who was singing this part or like last one? And so I feel like it'll take me like here. I watched the documentary, but it was like a while ago, and I've forgotten. But yeah, since I don't know them, I can't like track like the Spice Girls. I like look the same every single time you saw them. So it was like, okay, this person's this person. But even with like Fifth Harmony, where I had a hard time like remembering everyone's name because like we don't get to. I don't know. I didn't get to see them like be their specific selves enough.
Yeah.
There is a learning curve with new groups. Like that's why I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I know I would like that group if I listen to them, but like I don't have time to learn about 9 new people. So like I'm not gonna watch them just yet.
I think that's like one of like the genius parts of like the Spice Girls that we had. Like they had their like they were like marketed themselves with a brand before we really had like set brands like that. Like this is baby size, she has a lollipop. Like this is sporty size, she wears sportswear. Like and everyone had their thing and really like leaned in hard.
You know, that's one thing that I feel like Twice did really well early on. Because it wasn't like branding based on personalities, but in their music videos, it was like there were a couple videos early on where like each of the girls would have their own like theme and costume, and it would be really different from everyone else. Like a really completely different setting. Like there was one video where like one girl was like in like this dystopian like gritty kind of setting, and one was in like a princess setting. They had another video where they were like in Halloween costumes, and like they all had their own like different Halloween costume and like setting for that, and so it made it much easier to like distinguish them in those videos early on.
I feel like also, and I know this is like a group thing in general, but like the music videos don't really have like a storyline. They're just like, let's do cool visuals. And I'm just like it's rare that you see them have like an actual arc. It's just like, oh, we're underwater. Oh, we're in a castle. Oh, like we're in a collapsing dystopian backdrop. I'm just
sometimes they do. Like BTS definitely has some kind of storyline, and like fans have put like it all together and like in YouTube videos and like explained it, but like just to be like a casual viewer, like it's hard to pick up on things to like string it all together. But
I really like a storyline in a music video. So like I'm watching these videos being like, wait, but what's the story? They're just in random pretty places.
No story, just vibes.
Just vibes.
But I feel like NSYNC and stuff had like the same sort of thing with a lot of their music videos. Well, some of them, but like I guess Celebrity had a storyline. No. But yeah, I was like reading like a lot of like K-pop. I feel like from what I've experienced, is like it's all very like lighthearted music.
Yeah. Depends on the group.
Yeah, all the groups that I like, the big huge groups, I feel like it's all like very like let's dance.
A lot of the singles are, but I
Yeah.
feel like that's true of a lot of groups.
Yeah,
A lot of
probably like a group thing if you think about it hard enough. Like that's the same thing with the Spice
well, and
Girls.
also just a lot. I was gonna say like a lot of pop artists in general. Like there's a whole Korean like indie music scene as well that like isn't quite as popular as.
Indeed.
No, they like indie rock, like all sorts of.
Yeah. It just sounds weird next to like K-pop, like indie K-pop sounds like an
No,
oxymoron.
It's not K-pop. It's Korean indie music.
Oh, okay, but we're talking about K-pop, right? But,
yeah, but I'm talking about other Korean music.
yeah, it's just the popular ones. Like I feel like I haven't heard like a ballad.
You know, listen more.
Yeah. And it's like hard because like with BTS, like their American music is so different from what they make in Korea typically. So it's like, yeah, like they're
like wait, so their big hits are like Dynamite and like Butter aren't the same.
They're much more dancey and
happy. Yeah, like
and happy than they lean more toward that side. Like obviously they have Korean songs that are also that same tone, but they also have a lot of more songs that are more ballady or like more like dramatic and not as like
or have like really deep meanings even.
Yeah. Did you watch Black Swan? Their music video, not the movie Black Swan.
Oh, like the movie? No, I've seen. Are you talking about BTS? Is that a BTS song?
Yeah.
I've seen like 2 music videos for BTS.
Okay. Well, you just need to watch a lot more.
I saw that one and then another one.
Dynamite and Butter. Yes, we sent them to you.
That's right. Nothing wrong with like casually listening to it either. So.
But yeah, I read something that like Blackpink was like the biggest band in the world last October.
Ooh,
like
the biggest debut or something. I know they broke several YouTube records with music videos.
I think it was with Not Kill This Love, the one after it. It was like
Lovesick Girls or something, maybe.
No, I didn't.
How do you like that? How do
you like that? Yeah, how do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Okay, should we get back to the story?
Yeah. What should we talk about next?
Have you guys watched have you seen any group go from like where EXO like have you seen them from the beginning, any group like rise in the K-pop world? Any hipster ones like before everyone knew about them? Or is it that more of like you have to be in Korea to really catch that?
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of the ones that I used to watch were like 10 years ago. So like my perspective on like old school is like old school K-pop.
Right.
Which like I could mention groups, but like these days they aren't like active anymore. So like no one would even know. And
so what's the lifespan usually? 10 years, 5 years?
7 years is typically like the typical contract. But sometimes they extend it, sometimes they disband at 7 years. But that's like legally they can only sign on for 7 years.
How long?
Longer than that, but it was like BTS renewed their contracts after 7 years. But I don't know if it was made public like how long it is.
And some groups do go for quite a while, or they'll like break it free and do solo projects. Like one big girl group from back in the day was 21. And they aren't making music anymore, but like CL is still making music and still coming out with albums and singles, and they've been going for like she's been going for like maybe 15 years now. I want to say,
yeah,
a long time. I feel like Big Bang is about to have a comeback. Did I read that recently?
Yeah.
Big Bang is having a comeback, which is nuts to me because been gone for like years, and they also had some scandals in the meantime.
Yeah.
So, but they were one of my favorites.
I think like scandals would only help them because of the publicity that comes out of it.
So interesting how scandals are handled in Korea though compared to the US. Like people get away with so much stuff here.
Well, people love it here. Like,
but they're like, nope, you're done. They lose all support, like just completely. Like drug scandals, bullying scandals, like those things would fly by easily over here. They'll be like, oh, that's just like diva behavior. They're like, no, you're done. Absolutely done. Companies drop like their stars and stuff. Like that happened a lot recently, actually. There was like a big bullying scandal and stuff. So
what Beyond Measure says, did anyone sorry, I was bringing it.
No, you're good.
Okay. Did anyone struggle to get invested in the main couple because it felt like they barely knew each other and I wasn't sure why they liked each other? I feel like they really bonded about their past with their dads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have like connections right off the bat, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely personally would have liked more development there, but it was something that I was like able to kind of like overlook a little bit. So
yeah. When you have like something like that, it can hook you, like bond you very quickly. I feel like that in common because it's so hard to go through.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I mean that was another factor in why I didn't buy into the happy ending. So I was like, I feel like we didn't spend enough time with them to know that they can make it, because they were together for such a short period of time, and so much of it was like, you know, she was confused. She like didn't even know if she wanted to like be secret friends with him because like she deserves more than being like.
I think maybe AXIE OH though had like maybe longer scenes with them and they were like, cut it, so make it more short. Make it.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case.
Because I was reading the whole book looking for this scene.
That's the scene I feel like when they're not camping, when they're on the trip. Don't you think?
I don't know.
Seems kind of like the outfit she was wearing on the date, but when
maybe like where his family lives.
Yeah, but we didn't ever quite get like this moment where they're like in the street and they're.
I feel like they weren't in the street; they were behind a thing, and I was picturing them behind a thing where they kissed.
Yeah, but I was reading the whole book waiting for this scene.
This might.
I was gonna ask a question. I lost it. What were we just talking about before that?
The couple spending time together, secret relationships.
Oh, the chatting. What happened? Oh, there we go.
You froze for me.
My thing like restarted. It was like a buffer.
There you are.
Oh, it did it again. Hello?
You're lagging though.
What the fuck is going on?
Maybe refresh.
I'll refresh.
Okay.
Bye.
See you later. See you later, girl. See you later. Oh, there she is. Come back to us. Hey.
All right. So, if anyone has any topics you want us to cover, if Booksplosion was a K-pop group, Booksplosion.
Oh. No, but it would have to be like with all the vowels removed, so it was like an abbreviation.
Yeah.
Booksplosion.
BKSPL.
I think BKSPL is like the best sounding there.
What our greeting be? Hello,
we're Booksplosion. What? We like
thing like K-pop groups have like greetings and stuff. Like Red Velvet is like happiness. We are Red Velvet.
Oh really?
Yeah.
If XOXO was a real group, who would be your favorite member? I like Nathaniel. I feel like we got to know Nathaniel pretty well.
What are the other members' names? I can't remember.
Yeongmin and Sun.
Oh, they pronounced the other name differently. Yeah.
I liked Jaewoo the most, I feel like, but that's probably not fair.
I can't remember now that you said it that way. Jesse, do you remember how they pronounce the younger brother?
No.
Yeah, me or something? I don't remember.
Youngmin?
Young.
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe.
that's how I would assume it is pronounced based off of Korean pronunciation and romanization, which
Yeah,
is
I guess we don't know if the audiobook reader is pronouncing it the same way, so I have no idea. Ba-ba-ba.
Let's see.
Let's see. What else do you want to discuss regarding the book? I also like the part where she like kind of finds him coming back from therapy, and then he like goes to visit their grandma with her. That was so sweet. And
then he disappeared when she played.
oh yeah, wait, why did he disappear again? He like explained it at one point, and I think
he like realized how much he liked her, and so he kind of like panicked and ran.
So sad.
Do K-pop groups usually have a big age range like XOXO?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. Like he was only 13 and they were like, well, I guess they were 15 and 18, so it wasn't.
Hang on. What's
Yeah, they're currently like 15 to 18.
Well, no, because the older one, he's like 20 or something now.
No, he just graduated last year.
Wait, really? I was imagining him older.
No, he's just the leader of the group, so he's like the mature one. But they said like he graduated last year, so he's just like 18, 19.
I did not like when he was like talking to her with the waffles. I was like, shut up. Rude. And then I was if she didn't communicate like that he had talked to her back to Jaehyun. Yeah. Annoying.
I mean, it's understandable, like from his.
I would have been like, he just said this and this and this because communication is key. And I hate when they don't clearly communicate. Like, where is this coming from? Well, this person told me, like, just be honest with them.
Yup.
I think the one plot point that I think I kind of had an issue with was that she just dropped the sticker. I was like, I want to overhear them. Like, she was right there. She could have overheard them. She was our like villain that was being played on. Like the fact that she just dropped the sticker kind of like after we set up Gina for a while.
Yeah, that was a weird thing. It was like trying to be a surprise, like an unexpected person, an unexpected leak, but it just ended up feeling like disconnected because it's like we dropped Gina completely. Like after we had that moment where like she was at a table nearby and like she could have overheard.
Right.
And it was just someone. How did it even get out of her wallet? Like
I mean, it must have like because it was hanging out while they're at the restaurant, and maybe that was like supposed to foreshadow that it could easily fall out of her wallet. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would have liked it better if like Gina had taken a picture of the picture or something, or like heard and
something like that. Like also that photo like is barely indicative of a relationship. Like they're like they didn't kiss, they were just in a photo booth together. And when she was like looking at it in the beginning, like there's only like one good picture out of it. Like the other ones, they're both kind of like confused, like, oh, we're taking pictures. So like it's hardly like damning evidence of a relationship.
Girl Without a Fairy says, I hated Ginny's mom in this book. It was like she only cared about what she thought was best for Ginny and didn't care about what Ginny wanted at all.
That's a lot of parents at that age. They're like really concentrated on trying to like get their kids on the right path and aren't listening to what their kids have to say.
And also like she's a single mom too, so she has like, you know, all these abilities on top of that.
She's got a lot on her plate.
And then her mom's sick too, so like that's obviously, you know.
Yeah, I mean like she's probably just hanging on a thread, trying to keep it together. So Gotta cut her some slack. Momming is hard in general.
I mean, I also really understand the perspective of like she sees her daughter like
Kind of throwing
not
away
being as focused on kind of throwing things away for a boy, and so she's like, you need to like get better about this. But I didn't like how especially when we had that moment where like Jenny didn't tell her mom like I want to stay in Korea, and she was thinking like what if I like actually communicated with my mom, like what if we could come to a decision, but then like nothing ever comes of that. It's just like, oh, she just leaves Korea.
Right.
Yeah, but I feel like that is the more realistic thing that would have happened. Like when you're that age, it's really hard to like stand up to your parents. She's still in high school. But maybe eventually, like I feel like she would be like, I want to actually transfer, or like I want to be in Korea and like, gain the confidence to actually communicate that fully.
Yeah, what she wants.
Another thing that didn't like that kind of made me go like, why did it have to happen this way for the drama? Is when she's getting at the showcase, she's getting ready for her final performance, and she gets the message that like her grandmother is in the hospital, and she doesn't even read the full message. She just like runs, she just goes to the hospital, but then she ends up like just kind of like hovering outside the door and overhearing a conversation and not actually like seeing her mom or her grandma, which struck me as weird for a couple reasons. Because like if her grandma was already out of surgery by the time like she got to the hospital, like how long did the surgery take? And like she was putting off the surgery before because she wanted to be there at the showcase. So like wasn't grandma at the showcase to watch her? And then like what happened to the point where like she had a super fast surgery and then like was ultimately fine? And like why did the mom have to like text her just then, like interrupt the showcase for like your grandmother is at the hospital but she's fine? It just felt like it was.
Did she say she was fine in the message? I thought it was just.
She didn't read the full message. She didn't read the full message, but like by the time she gets to the hospital, her grandmother is fine and out of surgery. So it just, I don't know, timing felt weird, and like it felt like it was all for like a big dramatic moment. Like I was expecting grandma to go to the hospital at some point, or to have some. Like,
I thought it was going to happen a little earlier. Like there was a point where I was like, oh, she's going to be called away. But
I was like waiting for that, but the way it played out just seemed like weird timing, and like
I actually didn't think her grandma was going to make it through the book.
Yeah,
I thought her and her mom were going to have like that time together because of the sadness and all that stuff.
Yeah, I almost wonder. Well, it's kind of bad to say, but I wonder like if the story would have been better had her grandma passed away. In some ways, like because it could be something that like brought the mom and the daughter together, kind of.
Yeah,
that's like you're saying. So
yeah.
But
we wanted a happy ending. That's what the book is telling us.
It's a happy YA romance, so of course. No sad ending, but
like we didn't even get a goodbye scene between Jenny and her grandma.
I really love the book. I enjoyed the happy ending, and I really liked that little last letter. I thought it was so cute. I just, if you like take a step back and just be like, it was a very fun story.
It's a fun book.
I mean, I'm not arguing that. Like I did, for the most part, I really enjoyed it. Like it was really cute and fun, and there's a lot that I loved about it. I just have like these little things that I'm like,
did you at any point like were you hoping that like that Jenny would like become part of the K-pop group and like be a cellist?
I kind of was. I was like, that'd be kind of fun.
I mean, I was kind of them both being musicians. I was kind of like waiting for some kind of collab. I liked that she ended up doing like a duet with her roommate though. The dance and the cello.
I was so sad when she blew her off. I was like, you can't do that right now. You can't. And I felt so bad when she was like, "You can't like just be his like at his beck and call. Like you have a schedule too." And she was like, "But I have to. Bye."
Mhm.
I would have been like, "Hey, do you want to come watch our rehearsal? Because that's where I'm headed."
I feel like didn't Jenny have like a good singing voice too? I feel like she could have been in a K-pop group.
I don't remember her saying that.
She has good pitch, but
Yeah,
she
it's pitched. Yeah,
I
necessarily
mean, that's all you need in K-pop is pitch. So.
I mean, I don't know.
And she's not a good dancer though, so
No.
She could play the cello.
Off to the side on the stage, just playing the cello.
Like going like hardcore pop
They're just
cello.
dancing around her.
Like they'd be really unique because they have a cellist in their group. It would be like a Lindsay Sterling of cello.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
that would be fun. I would be into that.
I'd be into that too.
There's a lot of orchestral and piano covers of K-pop songs on YouTube. Like there's whole playlists of like 1 hour of soothing piano K-pop. I listen to stuff like that when I write. It's great background music.
Nice.
Right.
What are y'all listening to right now? Oh, you want to rap?
Well, I just felt like what are we listening to right now? K-pop wise?
Yeah. Or not?
Or-
K-pop.
Or not K-pop, so you can join in the conversation.
Yeah.
K-pop wise, I'm still listening to Twice, their latest album, which I love. Jesse just saw them in concert.
Right, it was amazing.
Non K-pop wise, I'm listening to the new Bastille album. It's so good.
K-pop wise for me, I've been listening to a lot of Twice just because of the concert. But also Stacy just
Oh,
dropped.
I was just watching some of their videos.
Yeah, I really like them a lot. And then general music. Ugh, I don't listen to general music.
Weird thing to call it. Other music.
Well, it's weird for K-pop to be separate from music as it is, so
Yeah, but like it's just a genre. I feel like.
yeah. Oh, Aurora just dropped a new album, and I've been listening to that.
Oh, I've listened to some of her music.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've been like on a loop listening to Love Sucks, Avril Lavigne's new album,
So I need to check that out.
and also Tessa's new song, Yes Mom.
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
I feel like I got tired of that song because of TikTok, unfortunately, because it was just like always in my feed, so I like overheard it. But...
Oh, I didn't like watch a million TikToks of it.
Wow, drag me.
No, I guess like I didn't catch when the trend was like running.
Yeah.
I just like, saw it. I was like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say something else. Oh, wait, is this you, Jesse? No, it's not you.
No.
Jesse. It's another Jesse said if you went to school, what would your talent be? What would your talents be, guys?
Oh my god.
Wait, that's not the same question.
Sorry.
If you went to the school, what would your talent be?
It would have to be like artsy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just do dance.
Yeah, you just do dance.
I feel like we all do dance.
Yeah, if it's performing arts, like
unless we already do an instrument, we're not going in there for an instrument. I'm gonna do beginner piano.
Yeah, definitely not singing.
Yeah, I guess dancing is I'd have to.
We do dance.
But I would like to do an instrument, but
Guys, we could form our the big explosion, and we could grab a singer and be like, "You sing for us, we do the dance."
Oh man.
I'll do the raps.
Yeah. I know how to rap super bass, so
I will dance around and lip sync.
What if you had to play an instrument? What instrument would you have picked up 10 years ago?
I picked up the violin in 3rd grade.
Oh.
And 4th grade. What about y'all?
piano. I was sad that I gave up on piano.
I'm sad that I never did piano. I tried to learn it myself, and
I told someone that the other day though, and they're like, "You're still alive though, so like you don't really have." I was like, "Okay." You're
yeah,
right.
you can still do it. It's just like you'd have to like hire a teacher and stuff.
Well, YouTube tutorials.
These days, YouTube.
Yeah, but like you can only get so far with YouTube tutorials unless you're like really dedicated, practicing every day and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I took piano lessons for like less than a year, and I feel like, I mean, my memory isn't great from that time because it was like probably like 20 years ago. But I feel like I could get the same from a YouTube tutorial at this point.
You can't though. Like I've done it. Like I'm not a piano player. Like you can't. Like you don't. There's no one pushing you like with homework and like I don't know. It's not.
No,
the same.
if you have the self discipline, I mean, it's
Yeah,
the
but like
same.
even so, like learning to read the stuff without like somebody, I feel like helping you with hand placement and like I don't know. It's
You know what I did? Because I was trying to learn the piano myself, like a few
Yeah.
years ago. I got like these little stickers to put
yeah,
on
I did that too.
like know the notes or whatever.
I did
That's
that too. Well, I think I couldn't get from the letters to the notes, like reading it.
That might be a factor because I was in band for 3 years and I played the clarinet, and so I did have a background of like reading music
Yeah.
and like, understanding.
Yeah, maybe if you have that down, but like I feel like there's like a hard bridge to get there by yourself with the note reading.
Maybe. I don't know. Challenge accepted. I'm gonna buy a keyboard. Ask me in a year to play the piano for you. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Guys, I think we should end this by doing one of our K-pop dances that we learned.
You mean that we didn't learn and you learned?
Or let's dance the night away.
I only remember that one move.
Oh man.
That was a satisfying move though, once your like body remembers how to do it. It's like, oh, watch me go.
I think a lot of the K-pop dances are really satisfying once you learn them.
Well, I haven't learned them, so I can't.
Well, you could. I believe in you. You
I
learn.
know I could, but like I just haven't. Like they all look fun, but like taking the time to do it. Unless we're doing a video. Like I've watched our video doing it so many times. It was so funny. What Taylor Swift song would be the theme of the video? I mean, the theme of the book. Come back, be here. Come back, be here.
Cruel Summer.
It's winter.
Kind of.
And it starts in March, right?
Yeah, which is spring at best.
It feels like winter.
Cruel spring.
All right, y'all.
That is going to be it for our XOXO live show. Thank you for joining us. We hope you come back and be here next month when we are discussing the rumor game. Follow Booksplosion on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date on all of the live show details. We also have a very pretty Instagram feed that's run by our social media manager, Jordan. So follow us on Instagram. We have beautiful pictures there of the books we're reading.
We really do.
But yeah, thanks for joining us for XOXO. We'll see you next month for the rumor game.
Yay!
April 2nd.
April's. Wait a minute. Are we sure it's April 2nd? Because I have something April 2nd.
That's the
We're
2nd.
sure it's April 2nd.
Yeah, it's April 2nd.
Okay, I'll look at my calendar after this.
What are you having? What?
I think it's.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.